This is a spoiler video from 5 episode onwards. If you do not want to be spoiled, you can leave this video. However, if you want to be spoiled, then also your viewing experience will not be much affected, as the series is only a loose adaptation, not scene by scene, hence, every episode has new moments to look forward to. So let's get on with the spoilers. The beach scene shown in the preview is not on the novel. However, episode 6 will be spent on both Pat and Pran having good moments and hiding their relationship from their friends. Pat will start sleeping in Pran's room. As Pran would always go to bed late, and Pat has to either sniff Pran or Nong home to sleep, he usually holds Nam while sleeping. At one instance, Wai nearly caught Pat in Pran's room. In the novel, their apartment is side by side, hence, Pat jumps from Pran's balcony to his balcony. However, in the series, their rooms are opposites of one another, so I don't know how this scene will play out, if they are to include it. As the director has given a surprise element towards the end of each episode, hence, this scene might end episode 6. As Pat starts living in Pran's room, they have their first time. It is presented in a funny way, and I don't think GMMTV or the director will include that. However, by the end of the 7th episode the parents will find out that they live in the same dorm building, as both happen to drop their children off and a big quarrel happens in front of their dorm. Pran is again taken back to home. Pat continues to live in the dorm. One good thing after that incident is, both Pat and Pran's friends, especially Korn and Wai, get to know about their relationship. This marks the end of hostility and they become friends, going for drinks and football matches. Pran has to do up and down to college from his home, so they get very less time to meet in college. Pat also starts to come home more often, and usually goes to meet Pran in his room. One day both of Pran's parents went out of town, hence, Pat comes to the room and decides to sleep there. In the process, bring Nong home too. As the house is empty, they have sex again and sleep in each other's arms. However, the following morning they got caught, as the parents come home early and Pran's mother catches them red-handed in bed. After the incident, Pat and Pran's relationship is exposed and Pran is not even allowed to go to college. In the novel, Pran's mother is not as bad as in the series. But I perfectly get why they choose the mother, as Pran's father is the first one to accept the relationship. But that would be later on. Pran has a cousin brother, who happens to be a doctor, in the UK, and he is being sent to the UK to study and live with his cousin. Pat runs away from his house early morning and calls Pran from the phone booth to leave everything and run away with him. Pran disagrees, they have a fight over the phone. Pat said he always loved Pran. Pran also says I love you, but only after Pat hung up. Heartbroken, Pat comes back to his home and Pat's family forces him to get engaged to Punch. I am not sure, Ink will be playing the role of Punch also, or they will get a new actress. In the meantime he takes over his father's business, starts hanging out with the engaged girl, and moreover, becomes alcoholic. Moreover, he couldn't sleep as he left Nong home in Pran's room. Pat's parents realize that their son is not happy. The mother is somewhat sympathetic, however, the father is hell-bent on getting him married. During one heated argument Pat lashes at his father for being blind in hatred and pushing his gay son to marry a girl. Punch happens to come to Pat's house and hears Pat's confession. Punch breaks the engagement. Once the engagement is called off, Pat searches for Pran in social media, and happens to see one picture of Pran, tagged by his cousin in UK. Pran was hiding his face, however, he could see his Nong home in Pran's bed. Since Pat took over, the business starts growing with his new ideas, and he starts bidding for bigger projects. For one project, his company's profile becomes a bit small, hence, he goes to Pran's father with a proposal to do the joint bidding. Pran's father is convinced with Pat's sincerity and decides to give him a chance. As the bidding becomes a success, Pat starts joint bidding on other bigger projects also. And Pran's father starts giving some control of his company about joint bidding to Pat also. Slowly the relation between Pran's father and Pat improves. Pran's father lets Pat go to UK to meet Pran. Guys, let's end it here. All I can say is the novel is happy ending, hence, at last everything will be alright. I have read the novel nearly 1 year ago when the first teaser came out. So I might miss some details. The series will make some changes, so a big chunk of spoiler might not be there in the series itself. I am enjoying the series so far, hope you will too.